Welcome back to Base Machines Monday!
We are so glad to have you here.
This is a completely different day. We didn't just stop filming the first episode and then come back here.
Yeah, no.
We just happen to be wearing matching outfits again.
It is incredible, just like the coincidence that it is. Same shirt, same hoodie.
Same cardigan.
Same hideous face.
Same One Punch Man. This episode is called Master of the House. This episode starts with the Maximals attempting to transform themselves from monkey business to robot business. But it ain't working out so well. Why? Because they haven't tamed the beast without.
They're like, Optimus, what did you do where you turned into a robot? And Optimus is like, hey, look, guys, you know, I just smoked a lot of weed.
Fell down a hole.
You know, it was all a bit of a haze, but I was like, you know, I really kind of felt like I finally was in my own skin, and I was really cool and calm despite falling to my death, and I just finally felt in tune with nature, you know, like I was one part of this, like, you know, this big planet, and I wasn't just myself, I was like everything all at once. It's real deep.
He was Mother Earth, but Cybertron.
Cheetor's like, I get it now.
And then he transforms.
Yeah, and the Black Raccoon is like, you know what, like, I totally get it now.
Yeah, and then she transforms.
And Rat Trap is like, yeah, I totally get it now.
He doesn't transform.
No, and he's like, and he's trying to squeeze his transformation out like a big rat turd, but it's just not coming. And Optimus is like Rat Trap, just kind of like, you know, be one with the universe, man.
Yeah,
like you just gotta be one with the universe or something. And Rat Trap's like, okay, I think I'm starting to feel like I'm one with the universe, but it turns out it was A, just a little bit of gas because he ate some beans earlier, and B, some kind of drilling drone thing that came through and was like, and then Optimus comes in and he's like, he can block things. So he's got, not only does he shoot projectiles with his hands
and his chest,
like he's got like invisi shields.
Yeah, he can project like an energy force field.
Yeah, so he does that a lot. The drone explodes and he's like, well, if this one found us, anyone can find us, so let's get out of here.
Find a new base.
They split up because they do that a lot, because I mean there's only 4 of them, so you want to cover any ground, you gotta split up a bit. But this time they at least go in teams, so it's Black Arachne and Cheetor going off. Black
Arachne is the mature one.
And Rat Trap goes with Optimus because Optimus...
Rat Trap is useless and Optimus is not.
Cheetor's like, man, you know, I just want to go find the answers, man. And Black Arachne's like, well, then let's go. And Cheetor's like, well, we're going to disobey orders. And Black Arachne's like, look, that's what I do. I disobey orders. And I enable other people to disobey orders with me.
But it's implied that they're only, like, in the sewer that's just below the city. Which is weird because didn't they drop, like, 9 billion feet? Why wouldn't they hide in, like, any one of the layers of ruins? Why didn't they just go in any one of those areas and then just, like, explore? I'd be like, yeah, let's go up there, but I really want to explore this place and see, like, how things were done. They're explorers, remember?
It's true.
The Axelon's an explorer cruiser, not a battle cruiser. But that is neither here nor there.
It's there, but
that way.
Yeah, but we want to go like there. So they get up to the surface and they get to what they call it, Cybertropolis. Yeah, where it's a big city. I guess it's not Iacon because that's where that would be the capital city.
And would they be going back to Iacon?
One might hope. So I guess Cybertropolis is just another big city. I mean, it is a planet. It's not going to have only one major city. So they look around and they are like, why is there no one here? And, you know, that's a good question. Where is everybody? The whole city is standing perfectly fine, except there's a significant lack of other beings. So they,
except for the Viacons.
Well, they don't even see those right away. They kind of get into a little computer first, and they're like, so let's see what we can find. And the tons of things have been wiped from memory. They don't know anything. That did not provide them any answers.
What would have been nice is if they would have, like, at least had, like, what year it was, and then we could, like...
Right, get a sense of, like, how much time has gone by. Yeah, good point. And as Paul may have noticed, is that if they're hacking into computer terminals, that might alert the authorities. And thus, the authorities were alerted, and here they come, a bunch of jets. I don't think we've seen the jets up to this point, right?
No.
So this is our introduction to the jets. Black Cactus running like this, and Cheetor's running like this. The good news, with all the commotion, they'd also kind of summoned Optimus, who comes in, and he's got his mojo still, so he's able to go like...
He comes prepared to use all their stuff. He has this like ability to like collect energy and then like fire it off.
The jets are gone for now, but Optimus is like, you guys, you went into the place and I told you not to do that and now you disobeyed my orders. And Cheetor is like, hey, Optimus, you know, like, we know some things that there's no other Cybertronians.
At least in the city.
In the city, that's true. We know that there are jets now. And Optimus is like, good point.
We need to go to the council of the old folks, so that way they can tell us what happened.
It's a plan with no drawbacks. I kind of like that Optimus just like, he's like, well, we're up here, I guess we may as well just like, you know, go with Cheetor's plan.
And they can transform now, so it's not like they're all just defenseless. But yeah, so then he just like barges headlong into the center of town, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he must have known something was up because there were tanks there too, and you know, he ran past them, and the tanks went to chase all the other Maximals, and they're like, let's split up.
Yeah,
because that's what they do.
It was kind of nice though that Optimus, he left them all behind so that way they can hold them off, as he said.
Yeah,
they're running around like crazy because they're quite agile. Optimus just charges in by himself, which is both very brave but also very foolish.
Optimus is kind of like that though. He doesn't like to put others at risk, but sometimes to his own detriment.
Yeah, like in the episode Monkey Business.
Yeah, exactly.
There's like a bajillion bikes.
In a moment that I quite enjoy, the bikes are lined up and they charge for him, and he just runs and he just literally bashes through them all.
Yeah, it's funny because they're like, he stops and then they stop and they form this like line or this like, and there's almost like a standoff, and then they're gonna play chicken, right? Who's gonna blink first? Nobody blinks and he just runs through them all like a bowling. Like they're like, he just gets a perfect strike and they just go.
The moral of the story is if you don't play chicken unless you can win.
Or unless you're a giant gorilla orangutan.
Orangutan. He gets into the throne room, as it were. Then all of a sudden he hears the voice. He's like, oh, hello there, Optimus. Oh.
As you can see, I've got a monopoly with my mega shakes.
He tells Optimus that the Beast Wars were over, Primal Pizza did go out of business, and Mega Shakes won
the franchise war.
Whoo! And Optimus is broken up by it. He's like, what? What? And Megatron's like, Optimus is like, ah! And Megatron's like, and
So then Megatron starts gloating.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, I was gonna go looking for you clowns, but you brought yourself and all your little clown buddies here, and all my Viacons are gonna kill them all. Witness on my mid-window. One by one, the Viacons are just getting outsmarted, outfoxed, outclassed, outquaffed, and generally outdone in every way.
Megatron puts some of the cards on the table. He's like, look, I've achieved technical perfection. Cybertron's mine. Beast mode's yuck. Don't want anything to do with them.
Nothing with animals, hair. He's allergic.
With rats, and sometimes you get a little bit of a rash when they walk on your skin. Cats, you know how they are. They're always clawing on the furniture.
Yeah, those little fuckers.
And don't even get them started on spiders. Megatron does not like spiders. He's never met one he can really trust.
He really hasn't.
By the way, Cybertron is now guided by one mind. My beautiful, sexy mind. I gotta say, like, I feel like Megatron's ego, he really, like, always finds a way to, like, step it up. You know, he was already kind of, like, crazy by being Dragon. Megatron be like, the Dragon's Wrath. And now he's like,
Enter the Dragon.
And now he's like Borg Queen Megatron. He's like, I have enough mind for everybody. I'm the smartest boy ever. And it's just like, dude, calm down. So much ego.
Yep.
Optimus is kind of riling him up a little bit.
Megatron is talking about how, like, you know, he's more like the Borg Queen, as you were saying. The Viacons are each, like, soulless or sparkless creatures that are, like, running around chasing them, that are all being guided by his thoughts. As each one of his Viacons is getting slowly, like, outsmarted or outwitted, one by one, it's causing Megatron to throw a hissy fit, and eventually Optimus sees that he's getting agitated, and then he starts poking the bear a little bit more, until finally Megatron loses it. He flips out, all those little pluggy things come out of his head, and then he transforms into his dragon form and he lands on the ground, and then Optimus is like, boom, robot mode.
He's bad dragon.
Starts giving him the spanking of a lifetime.
And Megatron's like, ah, not Optimus's spankings. I can't take those anymore. He just gets madder and madder. He said that he cleansed himself of his beast mode, but he's clearly still got it. It's a little more like, you know, beat up looking and like jaggedy and
patchy. And
his heart, he's still a dragon.
Yep. He's trying to hide from it because he saw our review of Blaster Master where we were making fun of him.
And he's like, I don't want to be a dragon anymore. Those guys aren't nice to me. But once a dragon, always a dragon. So when Megatron unplugged from his plug, the Vehicons destabilized, and thus Rattrap was not squished by tanks.
Thank God.
Phew!
He fires a fire blast at one of the vid windows, and this causes the vid window to explode. Right. And this was enough to get Optimus Prime, who's literally this, I'd say he's probably heavier than Dragon Megatron because of how big he is. He's got him in a chokehold. That was enough. That was enough that he was like, I gotta let go of you because, you know, I want to get rid of any advantage that I had.
And then Megatron turns back into his robot mode, plugs himself back in.
And then Megatron turns the tables on him, lets him in a little secret. Everyone on Cybertron, not just Megatropolis or whatever they're in.
Techtropolis.
Techtropolis
is Cybertropolis.
Oh yeah. Everyone, not just everyone in Cybertropolis, but everyone on Cybertron. Sparks are extinguished, which I think means they're dead.
That is the implication. That one does get Optimus riled up, and he turns back into his monkey business. He's like, oh! Optimus starts running out, and there's more motorcycles. All the other Maximals have kind of decided to come get Optimus and get him out of there. Rattrap uses his little tail to open up a little vent,
which I think was kind of cool because everyone else is still maximized. He's still a rat, but he's using whatever tools he has to be useful. So he got them a way out.
Rattrap, you know, beast your bot. You still want him on your side. But you still want him on your side. And Optimus, he just wants to keep going to fight Megatron because he's like, look, he made me angry, and I'm very angry. But they just rope him up and pull him out. So they will have to fight another day. And then
Optimus basically makes the whole thing about himself. He's like, this is all me. I have to do something about it. We're kind of with you 100% of the way, so I don't know why you make it sound about yourself.
He's like, I have to save Cybertron.
Black Rack is like, we.
He's like, oh, this burden on my shoulders. Oh.
Our shoulders.
Ah, the burden. Rattrap was like, suicide ain't my job description.
And then he leaves.
The end. So what'd you like?
Well, I liked the fact that we got to see sort of like who's really pulling the strings here. We always knew that it was Megatron being
it's
the
not like,
master.
You know, at the end of it, it's not like we're not going to recognize that voice. You know, it's Megatron. He's got one of the most recognizable voices
of all the Trons.
Of every Tron, including Tron.
Yeah. Jeff Bridges eat heart out.
Yeah. It's just like your opinion, man.
I feel like they were driving the story now, and as opposed to just sort of being along for the ride. Cheetor and Black Arachnia was the one who made the choice, we're going to do this thing, get more information, which is what the audience needed. Once they got a little piece of the puzzle, Optimus then makes the choice, we're going to go to the Council of Elders, and we're going to talk to them and ask them what happened. Like they were driving the story more, which felt good.
That's good. Yeah, you know, the last episode they were just running. They were just trying to like run and survive. And this time they're like, well, you know, now we can kind of transform. Let's go like stand up for ourselves and figure out what's going on. Yeah, I appreciate that too.
One thing that I also really liked about this as well is the fact that in Beast Wars, the ultimate objective was to get back to Cybertron. They're on Cybertron now, the physical place, but Cybertron, is it really a place, or is Cybertron the people that inhabit it? They're still looking for their Cybertron. So there's that ultimate goal, that ultimate objective, we need to save Cybertron, we need to get to Cybertron, is still very much alive in this narrative.
It's like if you were, you know, gone from home for a long time and you came home and your family wasn't there. It's like, well, this is just a building. What's the point of coming back to Cybertron if it doesn't feel like home anymore? And also if everything's trying to kill you. Because there's that too.
But at least they have free reign to kill every single one of those things.
Yeah, you know, no moral dilemma, no sparks to extinguish. They're robots. They're not robots in disguise. Well, they are robots in disguise, but they're not living creatures.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's cannon fodder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that I really liked about the episode, number one, the reveal that everyone on Cybertron, at least so far as Megatron knows, is wiped out. was really like, that was like a in the gut. Because it did look kind of like a ghost city when they were running, and there was only the Vehicons chasing them. But why do they have all the lights on in the buildings?
This is bad power management.
Yeah, it's so stupid. You think Megatron's supposed to be some genius. The second thing that I really liked was the back and forth between Megatron and Optimus. Because Optimus is supposed to be the one who is more at peace with his beast mode. He's only able to get the upper hand on Megatron when Megatron falls into his beast mode.
Yeah.
And then Optimus uses his robot mode. Then he gets the upper hand, but then he uses Megatron's own emotions against him, which was a nice play. Megatron Uno reverse cards him and then hits him with that emotional damage.
Billions of Transformers, their extinguished sparks are on your hands.
Emotional damage!
So I liked that there was a little back and forth. Megatron and Optimus weren't really kicking the crap out of each other or blasting each other. It was more of a war of the minds, and at one point Optimus gets the upper hand, and then at another point Megatron ends up with the upper hand as well. So
and it's all about who gets the angriest, and who gets the most emotional.
And I really like that. Although, why does he turn into a dragon when he gets mad? I've seen Megatron on several occasions get really angry in his robot mode, and he's fine.
Maybe it's something about the purging process of like he said he purged his beast mode, obviously unsuccessfully. Maybe there's something that he was trying to do that made it so that there was more connection to his emotions. You know, I don't have to worry about that beast mode as long as I'm able to just run all my little tanks and jets around and don't have to worry about all those beasts. I'm gonna be super cool, super zen. Yeah, I loved listening to the interplay with just like the voice actors, Gary Chalk and David Kaye.
Yeah.
You know, like just it's together again. You know, just the vocal duel. We often bring up the voice acting in Beast Wars, and I like that in Beast Machines. It didn't take a hit. The quality's still there. The vocal pairing of the two, I just think that they worked really well together.
I agree.
Things that I liked, it was nice that I liked the fact that even though it was maybe a little too quick, both Cheetor and Black Arachne just kind of getting it and being able to transform, even though they didn't transition perfectly into it.
I did like how the thing came through, and then as soon as they saw it, their instincts kicked in, and then they de-transformed again.
Exactly. So it isn't perfect. I kind of feel they got to like 22 minutes to tell the whole story, but I just felt like maybe a little more of the training. Seeing a little bit more of how that works would have been good. But I like that Rat Trap didn't get it. And I don't know what it is about Rat Trap, but that seems to kind of fit his character in that he's just a little too stuck in his ways to break out of that really quickly. So the fact that Rat Trap is not transforming at this point in the series, he just can't do it. I find very interesting and actually works well with his character.
You know that later on down the road, it's his transformation that's going to save the day. It just makes sense. Either that or one day they'll just go, oh, by the way, I can transform now.
Don't let us down narrative. And it's cool that he still is, he's part of the team. I like that Optimus was kind of tender with him. He's like, we'll just try again later. It's okay, Rat Trap. They got to see that little paternal side of Optimus again. And by the end of this episode, that's still not resolved. Rat Trap still can't transform. It would be too convenient if just at the beginning of this episode, suddenly there's like, oh, we can all transform and everything's fine. Even though it's a complete reinvention of how we've done it before. But I totally understand why Rat Trap's so frustrated by it as well, because, I think of the line in Beast Wars, he's being dropped off into the Predacon base without a gun.
I feel naked without my gun.
Yeah.
Because he relies so much on his gadgets, and the fact that he's a good shot, he's an experienced marksman, and demolition expert, and all that comes with his robot mode. The rat body was never, a really huge benefit to him, like some of the other beast modes were. It had some upsides. But
rolling through people's legs. And...
yeah. But, he didn't have, a Rhinox, where he could run through rocks or whatever, or Cheetor where he can go really fast, and, Optimus where he eats bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can still...
Yeah. I like that little flair.
Yeah.
I like that little ongoing story. I like the music. We didn't really touch on that in the first episode. The soundtrack is very different from the way it is in Beast Wars. It's very electronic, and it just has a different vibe and a different sort of...
I noticed that there was definitely a different vibe to it, a different feel.
It is part of this show's identity that is separate from Beast Wars.
Mm-hmm. There is something about the Beast Wars music, that fluty tune. It's like doo-doo-doo.
Yeah.
That always takes me back to when I was a little kid. For some reason, just hearing that music will always take me back to me being 10 years old again.
Totally.
But while I'm not familiar with this music, it is something that I do really like the music.
Yeah. I think what it is the music in Beast Wars, yeah, like the fluty stuff, like some of that had a very like Earth-like feel, like like, and obviously like they're not on Earth, they're on Cybertron, and this is much more electronic. And I think that like, oh, that actually fits pretty well. The Beast Wars, yeah, it was a lot of flutes and like a lot of like tribal sounding drums and stuff like that. So it was very earthy, and I can see why they would take the music in a completely different direction and make it very big, just like all. And that is my impression of the Beast Machine soundtrack.
I got a question.
Yes. Do I have an answer?
What the hell was Megatron smoking? Optimus didn't lose the Beast Wars.
Oh, yeah. Did the Beast Wars end on Earth?
Yes.
Or did they... Yeah, I feel like they did. I mean, obviously, the implication is that there's now this missing chapter between Beast Wars and Beast Machines that we need to figure out what the heck happened. And I guess Megatron is counting that missing chapter as the Beast Wars. He also, maybe there's a little bit of revisionist history in Megatron's mind, where he's like, I cannot let them remember the fact that they sank Nemesis and tied me up on the back of their rocket. If they've forgotten that, I'm counting on that, because that was really embarrassing. With Megatron's ego, he just can't take things like that. A little fragile. There's a lot of progress made. Like in this episode, you get a few questions. I mean, not really fully answered, but you get a bit more of a picture of what's going on, which I think kind of helps some of our issues with the previous episode.
Yeah.
But still a lot of mystery. There's still lots we don't know, which is also good for those who want to play the long game and see where it goes.
What didn't work for you?
There's some stupid stuff every now and then.
Like when he bulldozes through all those Viacons?
No, that was awesome. No, like Cheetor kind of just putting his swords together and going wee and flying and and
or Cheetor deflecting a bunch of like
I don't know, it's like some of it just kind of looked goofy, like he's just like standing there like swinging his swords around, deflecting all these laser blasts, and I'm like, I see what they're going for, but it looks kind of dumb.
Like they're like literally right in front of him.
And I don't really like Black Arachnia's robot mode. I don't think it looks very good. Although
six eyes.
One of the coolest parts of her is that when she she jumps on the back of the thing and sticks the venom things in there. I think that's cool.
Yeah, shocks the hell out of him. But then she does the ground one.
They just like kind of fly off, and that looks really silly. I don't know, like it didn't work for me. So the action is a bit mixed. There's some good parts, there's some bad parts.
I felt like that was just them spitballing. Like, okay, she needs to be able to do something.
And she can't just shoot cyber venom like she used to,
Yeah, so she can like shock people through the ground.
And that's going to be an issue through the series because this is their weapon set now. So we gotta just learn to deal with it. I don't have to like all of it.
And we don't.
I think I like the idea of Cheetor having swords. Like, I don't have anything against that necessarily. I just, just don't... If you could have them use them as swords and not just like... That might be cool. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff that didn't work for me in this one. Apart from that, I thought it forwarded the story pretty well. So story-wise, I didn't have any significant complaints.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but then again, this episode felt really short.
It was over before I even knew it. It did not feel like 22 minutes.
I did think it was funny how like Megatron's just like this ghostly image hovering over like his palace. He's like,
oh yeah, the last frame, yeah. It was very
very 90s megalomania.
It reminded me of the intro to Streets of Rage 2. Like the guy hovering over the city, and
he's like,
yeah. We're mainframe. Were they big Streets of Rage fans?
They're probably geeks just like we are.
After a very short amount of deliberation, we actually saw a pretty eye on this one. We are going to give the Master of the House 3.5 Angie Draggies.
Not perfect.
No.
Not shrouded in as much mystery, and it felt like the characters were driving the story a lot more this time. The action sequences could use some work.
Yeah, definitely. But all in all, like it forwarded the story at a good pace, and it has us intrigued. Well, Master of the House, what did you think of it? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you have not yet, if you have not, why have you not liked this video or subscribed to this channel?
And if you like Beast Wars, feel free to watch our entire library.
Be sure to check it out, and we love you. Thanks for being here. Ciao for now.
They're exploring.
Yeah.